Hello, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're gonna make a wee little bear hat for a 0 to 6 month, which is gonna be super cute, promise you. I just thought I'd quickly tell you how I work through my yarn, really, or get my yarn out started. So you could take the label off, and obviously there's the tail from the top. I've been crocheting now for what, 13 years, and obviously my balls of yarn have always rolled around the floor, and they go all over the desk, and they get stuck, and they go everywhere. So in the last couple of years I've tended to dig my finger around and just try and hook a few strands and get the middle bit out. There it is, nice bit of yarn splurge. And then the yarn doesn't move. I could just pull it out and crochet, and it's all very lovely. Obviously not every ball is that simple. Sometimes it comes out in a massive splurge, but that's okay. It just means it's there ready. So where's my end? There's my end. Okay, so we're starting off with our magic circle. If you need some more help with that, then have a look at my other tutorials. They might help a bit better. I'm using a 9mm hook today, and we are going to start with a magic circle. We're going to chain 2 and work in trebles into our magic circle. I'm going to work 9 for our 0 to 6 month because it's only for a wee little head. So let's work 9. I mean, this is a little hat, so it's not going to take us very long at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Give it a pull, favourite bit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pop it in there. Obviously I'm using black yarn today. Black yarn is a bit of a killer when you're learning to crochet. But you can always find a stitch marker and pop it in there, so then at least you know on the way round. You can make your first stitch and then pop a stitch marker in, and then you know where you want to slip stitch in the end. So I'm carrying on just with one of my increase rows, where I'm going to put 2 treble crochets in every single stitch on the way round. I would say this pattern, as much as it could be for a beginner, if you're going to get stuck, I'd say it gets a little bit complicated later on. So let's just, not too complicated. Let's not beat about the bush. Give it a go. Why not? But if you get stuck, just feel free to give me a message or drop me a comment below. Okay, back round. 2 there. And back into my first stitch, which is there. Okay, and then we're going to do another increase row. I'm going to put 2 trebles in here, and then I'm going to do 1, and then 2, and then 1, all the way around. Okay, so I've come all the way around to the end again, and that's pretty much the start of our hat. Now we're going to start working in rows back and forth. So this is where I'm going to turn my work. So I'm going to chain 1 here, and then I'm going to flip my work around, work into the same stitch I've just worked, and work a half treble. And I'm going to work them all the way around. Stuck. Right, I'm coming back round to the beginning. Now I don't want to join it here because I want to work in rows. So you can see that is worked into that stitch. I'm going to leave for a new one. I'm going to leave 3 stitches unworked. So 1, 2, 3. So I want to work 2 more. Okay, there should be a little gap. 1, 2, 3 unworked. Then I'm just going to simply turn my work and work my way back along that row. And I'm going to do this for 5 rows. There we go. I'm going to turn the right way so you can see that it's starting to form the shape of a bonnet. So again, I'm going to turn my work and work back another row. So all I've done is chained 1 and I'm still just working in half treble crochets all the way along. Okay. I will meet you at the end of the 5. Okay, you should have your 5 rows. 5. So what I want you to do is I want you to chain and turn your work, and we're going to work double crochets now all the way along. Just all the way along, and that will just be the end of the hat. And then what we're going to do is work on the ties, and we're going to double crochet around the edge as well in a second. So it's a super quick hat to make, won't take long at all. Okay, so coming to the end. Right, and now we're just going to make some ties. So there's your hats. We just want some ties in the corners. I normally do for a newborn about 16 chains. 6, 7, 8. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch back through them, and that's our first tie done. So slip stitch all the way back down to the bottom. Right, and when you get at the bottom, we're going to double crochet 5 stitches, well 6 stitches down here actually, for the number of rows we've got. 1, 2, you should see there's holes, and you just naturally just pop them in there, just evenly over the stitches. There we go. And then what you're going to do is just put 3 stitches in the unmarked stitches we left earlier, and then you're going to work up the other way. So again, you can see where the holes are. Just pop your hook in and just do a little stitch. And then the top one, I normally make sure we go through the stitch at the top. And then again, 16 chains to make the second tie. And then we just slip stitch back all the way along. When I get back, I tend to just put a slip stitch into the last stitch there as well. It just means it ties it in, and then we leave a little tail and pull it through. And that is your little bonnet done. Give it a bit of a stretch out just to even out the stitches, and then sew in your ends, which we'll do quickly. And then what we'll do is we will get onto the ears, because today we're making bear ears on this little one. we go, give that a snip. And we've got one in here. Right. Obviously, I'll just throw my needle on the floor. It's a good thing I've got a second one handy. Right. With this one, I just tend to give it quite a little knot, make sure it doesn't undo. And then again, I just go through stitches, weaving in. And give that a snip. Okay. There we go. Right. Let's get on with the ears. Okay, let's get on with the ears. So this is only a little one. I'm going to make a magic circle, and I'm using a smaller hook. I'm using a 7mm hook, and I'm just going to put in 6 trebles into this little magic circle. 1, 2, okay. I'm going to pull that tail out and put it tight. Now I'm not going to join it. I'm going to work back around it because I want to create a kind of shell shape. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm just going to work 1 double crochet all the way along. So 6 of them in total. And then I'm going to chain 1 again, turn my work, and I'm going to do an increase in this one. So 2 in the first stitch. Again, just double crochets, then a 1, then a 2, and a 1, and then a 2. Finishing on a 1. I'm going to chain 1 again, turn my work again the last time, and I'm just going to work 1 double crochet in every single stitch across. There we go. Okay, so I have that kind of shape, which actually quite likes to curve either way, which is great. It's exactly what we want. So now what I'm going to do is I want to pull this in a bit. So actually this is going to be the back and this is going to be the front, and I want to pull it in to make the bear ear. So you can see there's a nice hole here. You see there's a hole there. I'm going to just do a double crochet into there, and I'm going to do a double crochet into here. You notice I haven't chained or anything because I want it just to pull everything in. And then we're going to go up the other side. So move that tail to that side. And again, there should be a hole if you just push your finger through it. And then there should be another hole just there. And then I'm not going to do a stitch. I just want to do a slip stitch into that first top stitch there. Okay. And then I want to give myself a little tail. Oh no, where's my little scissors? Okay, misplaced my little scissors. So I'll just use that. Give yourself a long tail and pull it through. And there's your ear. Okay, so you want to make 2 of those. So pause the video and go back. I am now going to continue on with the inner ear, which I've got this lovely contrasting colour. I prefer contrasting colours. Some people like the same colour, but it's up to you. You just need a small amount of this extra colour. Again, pretty much the same magic circle, and we're just going to put 6 trebles into this circle. My arm wants to come with me, thank you. Okay, again, pull it tight. Now, this one I am going to join, but I'm going to leave a tail, and I'm just going to invisible join it, so let's get rid of that. Okay, I'll thread it onto my needle. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my stitch, and I'm just going to pop it into those 2 little V's and straight through the stitch it came from. There we go. A nice little circle. So this we are now going to sew into the ear. So I've turned the ear inside out. And I'm gonna because we've done 9 trebles here and we've done 9 trebles here, it should just fit beautifully on top. Now we're going to sew it together. Now how I sew it together is you don't want to go through, otherwise you'll get these stitches on the back of the ear. You really don't want stitches on the back of the ear. You just want to find a loop to lift up and sew it through. Oh, get that tail out of the way. I just go through our stitches and go all the way around. So into our loop, find a little loop. You can see the back. You should be able to see the back stitches of the increased row we did. And then just sew it through. There we go, and back through. And we just do that all the way around. I mean, if you do go through, it's not the end of the world, just unpick it and try again. But, you know, we really don't want running stitches on the back, kind of, because we're using such a contrasting colour, you want it to kind of seem seamless, don't you? Just to be in the inside of the ears. Okay. There we go. And then snip them off. And there's your little ear. Right. How about you pause the video and make the other one and I'll join you back. Okay, so you should have 2 little ears now that we are now going to sew onto our bonnet. Let's move those out of the way. Okay, so I always, for some reason, I always start on the left hand side. I'm not sure why. I think it's just, maybe that's where my eye kind of works better. I don't know. The second ear I find easier to line up. So I tend to put them in about 3 rows or 2 rows. I think 2 rows with this little one. So you want to kind of just eyeball it really. So I want to be inserting my needle. So I tend to work into these holes here. You can just quite easily figure it out really. And I just come up and I loop through. I just sew it to the hat. I think it's quite hard to describe how I do it really. I then just work through the gaps and just grab the stitches that I've made on the ear at the base and just sew it on. I just try and keep in the line because then it just means it aligns nicely and I can get it aligned to the other side. So I pop that in there. So that should be quite firmly onto there. This is when 2 needle comes in handy, so I can leave my needle on there. And then I haven't snipped or sewn in my end because this is how I make them stand up. So I tend to just grab a couple of loops at the back and I'll just thread a couple of loops on the back of the ear, put it tight and pop it through to the bonnet. And then it just, you see that on screen, but it just stands up quite nicely. And then when you turn it inside out, just marry them up together, do a quick couple of knots and sew in the ends, really. It's not magic, it's just how I make my bear ears. Oh dear, that one's come off my needle. I'm frustrating. That's okay, we just back on again. And again, just different directions, just sew in that end. There's one. And then I'll do the other one away from where I've just put that other one. And give them a snip. One ear done. Okay, so again, bonnet in half. Let's thread on the other ear. So again, working in this second row, wasn't I? So I tend just to see where I am. So make sure the bonnet's in half, stick it in. Look, it's come out pretty much exactly where that is finished. Obviously you don't want to sew the hat together, so make sure you open the hat up and just pull that through there. And then you want to do the same really. I tend to sew through that last stitch there, and then I work through the bottom stitches. These needles that are hooked are just really good for this kind of thing. Do you know, I only found these like, I think 2 years ago, and I don't know where they've been all my life, but they just make things like this really easy, especially in chunky yarn. You could just direct it really quickly. And last one in there. And it should marry it quite nicely. And then the same with the back. So again, if you want to make sure it's perfect, so I tended to use this, excuse me, these ridges here. So again, just a couple of stitches through the ridges. And I just picked up a couple of loops in the first magic circle that I made, put it to, there we go, turn it inside out, do a couple of knots, and sew in those ends. One, two, snip, and there's your very cute little bear hat. Let me know how you get on. If you have any questions, just let me know. I will, I haven't quite finished writing up the whole pattern yet for all the sizes that I do, because I make this hat up from this size all the way up to adult, but it will be released super soon. All right, thank you very much.